Okay. So we kind of briefly touched on it. We've got G4, Venn. We've got these two new TV channels coming back on. And they haven't really announced, I don't think yet, how they're going to be operated or where they're going to be hosted. But do you think that these are going to be alternatives to live streaming content, like a high production stream? Or do you believe they're going to be more like a broadcast television network where I wasn't a big G4 person myself before, so I didn't know a lot about it. It was a premium cable channel that I didn't have as a kid, right? So I didn't really know about it. Well, I knew about it, but I didn't really watch a lot of it. So I'm really curious on like what the impact G4 and Venn will have going into 2021, we'll say, or the end of 2020, right? Going into 2021, et cetera. And if it will pull viewers from streamers, and have a negative impact on the content creation community in general.
It's a different world than it was, several years ago with G4. There wasn't, Justin TV might have been around, but certainly most people had no idea what it was. Whereas today, it's not an unusual thing for a gamer to see a new game that they're interested in and go to Twitch and just go find somebody that's streaming it. And that side of it, I don't think you can ever lose to a TV show. So assuming G4 goes back to cable or something similar in a TV-ish format, it can't replace that part of Twitch. If somebody is super into something like, let's say, Call of Duty, if their favorite thing is to watch Warzone streams, G4 can't replace that unless it also is Warzone most of the time. But then, they're not going to do that because they're going to lose potentially a lot of other viewers that want to see, something different ever. So I don't know that it would ever replace something like the availability of what we have on Twitch, but I could see it pulling some viewership away for something like, Attack of the Show. Being popular. If you have something that does pull a lot of interest, I could see like that hour maybe. But then again, you could also have people watching that on TV while they've got the same Twitch stream they normally watch just pulled up on their cell phone. So it will be interesting to see what format G4 actually does take. I hadn't actually considered that. It's actually really interesting. It's a really interesting thought. I hadn't considered the idea it would be anything other than a TV channel, but it could be a high class, high production live stream. It could be a channel. It could be a Twitch competitor. It could be a new platform. I don't think their trailer actually gave you any information other than that it's back. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what it actually means.
Hopper?
I have some very interesting ideas here. I don't think it's going to come back as like a standard broadcast channel. I don't think it's going to come back as like a platform. I think it's gonna take the route where I feel like most TV is going to go. My assumption is it's going to be some sort of monthly subscribed channel. So again, it's available on your phone, your tablet. If you want to watch it on your smart TV, whatever you have to do, you're paying $4.99 a month for G4 like you would for Netflix, and you get access to all their content. And I don't see a downside for the rest of us who play games in any way, shape, or form. As we're obviously trying to do this for a living. There's lots of upsides from a big network style thing. Be it contests or highlights, or some ways, they get Twitch streamers on for a specific battleground show or interviews or whatever it may be, that you get a different way to possibly network yourself. I'm really having trouble with words tonight. I'm excited for it. That, then bring on any of the big names out there that want to try to make a big production out of video games in the world we live in now, where it's so much bigger, a much bigger audience, much bigger viewership, everything like that. I see nothing but good things out of both those platforms.
So my suspicion, my assumption, at least for G4, since they have the historical, right? It was a premium cable channel in the past, right? My suspicion is that it'll go back to something along that line, but they'll add in on-demand content, right, which wasn't historically available for them back in the past, right? And they'll add in something like you see with like NBC and these other providers where like you can watch, you know, the two of last month's episode, but if you want to get caught up on anything, then you have to pay a monthly subscription to get their on-demand service over the web or something like that if you don't get a premium cable channel. Things like that where, you know, they're going to have alternative methods to, like you're saying, generate a subscription service to get content added to you. And it could become like another, obviously not a Netflix portal, but something along that line where you're having, you know, content that's pre-recorded, but it's also available live, right? Almost like the podcast, right? Where we're doing this live and then we put it on later. And then you would have to subscribe to watch it if you wanted to get caught up or something along that line, right? That's going to be my suspicion, at least for G4, because I believe that they have that history, right? They were originally a cable channel, et cetera, like I said. The Venn, I would have no idea. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't go, if they were attempting to, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't go the route of working with a small, either Twitch or I wouldn't see the reason why they wouldn't go the route of working with a existing streaming platform and just setting up a 24-hour stream, right? And it would just be 24 hours of content, always available live. They could even help push news for the platform all the time, etc., right? And it's entirely a news-based channel or something along that line, right? Obviously, all the different shows or whatever is available inside of that. But I wouldn't see why you wouldn't want to do something like that, because of the availability of it versus cable TV, right? Yes, there's a lot of people that have cable to go nowadays with a mobile app, but unless you have, well, let me finish. There's a lot of people who have mobile apps for cable, but there's a lot that don't, like children, right? Like usually sometimes the parents will have the cable app or something like Spectrum is, or Charter Communications, right? Have a mobile app that you can watch TV while you're in the car or whatever, right? Usually the parents have that, not the kids. The kids will have the Twitch app or the Mixer app in the past, or, you know, YouTube or something like that, right? So unless you have cable networking or cable contacts to get into that and to work those negotiations, then why not work with something that's a little easier, that's more available, that has the community that you're looking to reach already, and just work with them, right? You can get a lot more traction a lot faster, I would say. Especially when you have especially now, to me, it's just really interesting seeing Venn and G4 announced almost simultaneously, like within a week of each other.
Right.
Because, and I feel like maybe Venn slipped, and they announced, and G4 was like, oh crap, we were trying to stay hidden for another 6 months, but now we got to get our name out here because we now have a competitor in the game, right? Or something along that line, right? I feel like this is a very Android Apple, it's going to turn into an Android Apple thing, right? Where, oh, you launched yours, now I'm going to launch mine, right? Or a Microsoft, Sony, whatever, right? You know, kind of concept. And
I take credit for the G4 announcement.
yeah. So I'm just very curious to see if they're going to rush to market at this point, right? I think Venn already had an announcement that it wasn't coming out till 2021. I think in their video they said something about that, or one of them, either Venn or G4, said 2021 was a date or something along that line. But you know, I'm just kind of curious on how these two are going to interact with each other, because before G4 had no competition, right? So now that this is going to exist, how is that going to work, right? And it looks like Venn's already pulled in some good names, from what I understand.
G4 is 2021, is what they've said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, but I do think it's right that, like, whatever format it ultimately takes, at least some part of it will include some sort of subscription model for access to certain content. That is just the nature of the game. That is the way literally everything is going, especially as the internet becomes more powerful and more available. And you've got things like Starlink that are coming along and making high-speed internet potentially more available to areas that have never had it before. When you look at areas that are still on dial-up today, suddenly having broadband, that's a whole world of new customers that and viewers and whatever else that aren't available right now. That means that there's thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of potential Twitch viewers that can't watch Twitch right now at home because they've got dial-up or they've got DSL so slow that it can't handle a video stream. And nobody, like, let's be honest, basically nobody's ever going to come to Twitch to just listen to audio, right? So it's a lot of these folks just don't have the ability to participate in things like that. So as that starts coming online, I think we're going to see an interesting influx of new users, and there will be businesses like Twitch and potentially like G4 trying to vie for that. But like, no matter what, again, format they take, it's absolutely going to involve subscription at some level. That's just the way the entire industry is going. That's the way many industries are going, honestly, is Wall Street keeps pushing people. How are you making recurring revenue? Okay, you sold somebody a device. Now, how can you make money off of that device once it's in their hands? What can you do to keep making cash? And that's just simply the way everything is trying to go. So I think we're going to see that no matter what. There will be, if it's access to VODs or, some sort of offline content, or if it's access to, who knows what. I think Q had mentioned, like, maybe you get access to a couple episodes, but to get more, you would have to subscribe. I think whatever format they're in, it's going to involve that at some level. But we'll have to wait 6 months to find out.
And all that is why I don't see it coming back as just like a regular standard channel on your network lineup. Just because it's all about accessibility these days, It's not like, hey, I'm gonna go turn on my TV at 8:00 to watch this show. It's no, I'm gonna load it up at 2:00 in the morning after I finish playing video games and playing on Netflix. So I don't see them coming back as like a regular channel, but
okay.
Gotta be available.
I think it could still be both.
Yeah, if they have the slot, they'll use it, but that's not like their main focus for sure at all. It's going to be a subscription-based service, I believe.
Yeah, there's so few. I don't want to say there's so few people, but I believe the majority of the market today would rather have their content streamed than watch it, watch a channel, right? Like you watch TV when you go stay in a hotel because you don't have access to Netflix. Like that's when you watch TV, right? Like, because otherwise, again, like we just mentioned, you have your device or you have something like that and you're going to stream Netflix. You're going to stream your cable provider. You're going to stream whatever else you have available on demand because you want to watch the show that you want to watch, not whatever's available, right? So having a streaming service is almost a must for any new competitor or any new service coming into the market today. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, the only thing I watch live is sports. It's the only thing I ever bothered to turn the TV on for.
Yeah, and even that sometimes I just plan for not avoiding spoilers and catching it later.
I just watch the 10-minute highlight reels, like the little 10-minute clips of like, here's the whole game in 10 minutes. Okay, I'm done. There we go. Everything exciting that happened in the game. I don't have to worry about all the non-exciting stuff.